Kia ora, friends, and welcome to the Monday Night Chores, the
54th
greatest wrestling podcast in the history of the UK, according to iTunes. Not that we worry about that sort of thing. The idea is we watch all of the Monday Night Wars, comparing Raw and Nitro, so you don't have to ultimately decide which show was the best. I am your host, Dave Mack, joined by the podcasting equivalent of the NWO, Gareth Wadland.
All right, bruv.
And the podcasting equivalent of the Spirit Squad, Sam Wakefield.
Yo.
Nice. Keeping the energy up for that. We said excited, Sarts.
Yeah, but I did the fucking Monday Night Chores.
You're alienating the audio listeners.
Sorry.
We love our fans equally. Or not at all. What's been going on in your week of wrestling, chaps? You had a good week? Have you been watching wrestling, doing any wrestling things? Sam, because I normally start with Gaz.
Yeah, I watched Goldberg at 54.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah, again, it was like only a little half-hour documentary, which seems to be the only sort of stuff I hop on for Network 4. I sort of go on there and then I think, I can't bear to watch any actual wrestling. So, I just thought, I watched that. And I also watched Batista 20. I don't know if it's a Batista 24, but it's basically when he went back to the Rumble in 2014 or 2016 and got booed
him. Yeah.
Because Daniel Bryan weren't in it. Batista generally comes across as a nice guy, actually, quite sort of sensitive, and he generally sort of gives a shit. Goldberg comes across as a guy who realizes that he was an asshole for the last 20 years, so now he's trying to pretend to be a nice guy.
Sean?
Yeah. Sean?
Has he found God?
Yeah. 90% of wrestlers.
Yeah.
But I have watched other bits, but I tend to. I've been getting addicted to the older Rumbles. I think that's because Gaz watched one, and then I was like, oh yeah, Rumbles. But so I think I watched some of the early 2001s, bits and bobs there.
Nice.
Sure. Gaz, what about yourself?
Oh, mate, it's been non-stop wrestling in my gaff.
WrestleMania, you might say.
You could say, but we're not going to say that, no. I watched Bret Austin, WrestleMania 13.
Nice.
Because I've not watched that in a while. And again, Sam keeps harping on about that. So I watched that one. I watched Hogan Rock, WrestleMania 18.
18?
Yep. That's really good. I forgot how good that was. I think I remember watching that, funny enough, with Sam at the time when it was on.
Yeah. It's on my drunk playlist.
Yeah,
so
it's good.
Emily knows I get to a certain amount of alcohol and it's either Hogan Rock or Austin Bret. And like whoever's around, like it doesn't matter. Fucking right, and I'll tell them the backstory and talk over the whole match.
It's good, mate. It's good. It was brilliant. The Bret Austin match is fantastic. If anyone's, I'm assuming people listen to this from our sort of generation or whatever, they've watched that. But it's a fantastic match. Go back and just keep watching it over and over. So I watched those two. I watched a documentary on the network called Ruthless Aggression or Ruthless Aggression.
I've watched that one.
Ruthless Aggression.
Put your teeth in, mate.
Easy for me to say, isn't it? Ooh. That's a 5-parter and all. And I was like, Jesus. But that was really good.
Yeah, it's good. That one is.
When did the Ruthless Aggression era begin and the Attitude stop?
02, 03, I think.
That's when.
Or 03, 04.
So is there a period where there's not a name? So did the Attitude stop and Ruthless Aggression immediately start?
I think that's how he tries to sell it. Like the new generation, the golden era.
It's a cool thing to do because I mean it's very easy to say, oh, it's from the Attitude era.
Yeah,
golden era. Blah blah blah.
That was really, really good. That the one on Evolution was good about Ric Flair as well. Obviously, when he comes back and he's old Flair and he doesn't want to do and he's lost his mojo, and then obviously Hunter gets it back for him because that's what Triple H does.
Good old trips, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that was covered on the ESPN one. Did you see that?
Yeah, I watched that. I watched that 30 for 30. The Ric Flair one. That was really, really good.
Very
that
sad
was good.
though, isn't it?
Yeah, when he talks about his son and stuff.
Who has just lived on his own his entire life, who's been surrounded by people, but just compensates with alcohol, doesn't he? And sort of making.
But Christ, what a party dude he was back in the day, though.
Yeah. He knew how to do it, didn't he?
Yeah. Load of Steve Austin stuff because there's been 25 years of Austin on the network. Got round to watching Yokozuna Icon.
Nice.
And again, it was all right, but he said at the end, just going, he ate a lot, didn't he? We said not to, and then he kept eating.
Still keep eating, that's it, wasn't it?
That's all my wrestling that I've watched.
Has your wife thrown you out? You're just sitting on your own watching wrestling?
I'm winding down from work. I'm leaving this week, so I've just been doing fuck all at home. But also, I was inspired by a conversation we had with Sam about Funko Pops, right? And look what I got.
Oh, mate, how much did you pay for that?
I'm not telling you how much I paid for that because the wife
59
might listen.
quid.
But I've also got to say,
was it more than 60 quid?
Yeah, it was over 100. Yeah, it was 130 quid.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
From Hogan's Beach Shop.
From his
I won't go over like 30 quid, and I think I've only done that twice.
And I've just bought a Kurt Angle signed for 110 quid, but don't tell Lauren that one either.
Jesus Christ.
So that's my new thing now. It's getting signed Funko Pops from wrestlers. I've seen a Bret Hart and a Shawn Michaels, which I'm eyeing up. So this is not good.
You're trying to get divorced. I watched the 96 Rumble and that was it. That was
got a new curtain.
What, like a wrestling curtain to come? I thought you meant you had got a wrestling curtain.
You've got a new curtain.
I tell you what I did watch. I watched a YouTube channel called The Hung Bucks, Sam. And it was about AEW. Oh, fuck.
The Tongue Schmucks.
Your AEW
I think it's called
stuff,
GG
Sam.
on wrestling. Yeah.
Is it just under his umbrella? Tell us about your other AEW podcast, Sam, because
I'm doing a weekly AEW Dynamite review show.
That's enough, mate.
GG.
And mute.
No, it's good. You do a live on YouTube of it, don't you?
Goes out live every Thursday, 9 p.m. Yeah. So we need listeners.
You shooting the shit about
AEW. Just going through a bit of that. Just what are our thoughts on that week's Dynamite?
It's good. Check it out.
What we thought was Dynamite and what we thought was Dyna shite.
Did you get that from Gaz? Was that a Gaz? I thought this week we'd kick things off with Vince McMahon's finest, Raw. Is that okay with everyone?
Yep.
Doesn't matter if it isn't. We're going ahead with it. So we have Monday Night Raw, the 8th of January, 1996. We open with Shawn Michaels in a really terrible grey suit, meeting some hillbillies, while Vince tells us there'll be a stunning revelation at his press conference later on, and we're going to get more Billionaire Ted and Scheme Gene before we're going. And then, bloody hell, we've got a new opening video.
Yeah, I know. Good, wasn't it? Saxophones and everything.
Could not believe it. Proper 90s. None of this wrestling around on top of a roof anymore. They're going full out, aren't they? It's brilliant.
It's the theme tune, which was on the Monday Night Raw game on the Sega Mega Drive. And the 32X. So it just reminded me of playing that game, which was probably one of the best games on that console, of that generation.
Nice. So that was your pop, was it, this week? That's it. You're popping for the intro to Raw.
Yep, that was my
pop. We opened up and Jerry Lawler just screams that Shawn Michaels is a fool.
I'm going to say one thing about Shawn Michaels. The man is a fool, McMahon. And
we're going to hear about a new $1 million champion tonight as well. So that's an interesting one. Our opening match is Jeff Jarrett versus Hakushi. And I know it's at 2 minutes here. We've got some brat in the crowd who's got a t-shirt on that says, "Ain't I great?" And then he turns around and on the back it says, "Not." Yeah? Did you get it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought at the time, joke's on you, mate, because as in the context of Raw, we get what he's saying. But it's just like, fuck you, Jeff Jarrett. But anywhere else he wears that, it just looks like he's dissing himself, doesn't it?
Yeah, but if he's got a
True.
jacket on, he just looks like
It
he's
just
amazing.
says "Ain't I great?"
Ain't I great? I'm surprised you don't have one, Sam.
I have, but it doesn't say "not" on the back. It just says "Yes, I am."
Ain't I great? Of course I am.
To reiterate.
We had a good start because Jeff Jarrett gets on the mic and he's talking, so Vince McMahon just proceeds to talk over the top of him, and I've got no clue what either of them said. So,
Double J, you're not in the Royal Rumble matchup. You're going to be facing Ahmed Johnson one-on-one.
anyway, we start the match with Jeff Jarrett. He dumps Hakushi out the ring, but Hakushi comes back in with a top rope shoulder block, and Double J tries to bail out and escape. Jeff decides he's going to bore us a bit longer and attacks to take over the match. There's a bit of choking on the ropes. We get a break, returning with Jarrett with him in an abdominal stretch. A Hakushi splash hits the knees, and Jarrett finishes him off with the figure 4 leg lock after 8 minutes. Wasn't much of a match. It felt like they were kind of phoning it in a little bit, didn't it? Like no one seems to be that great. I liked Hakushi though, because Hakushi's kind of smooth in the ring to watch. So it's a bit of a shame he's not going to do much more. But
it was pretty well respected in Japan, wasn't it? I can't remember what his original gimmick was, but it was a bit like a who's a guy who came to NXT and then basically got injury after injury and now has turned up in AEW. Yeah, he came in, didn't he? Very, very like, this is a huge thing, and then nothing happened. I feel like that's what happened with Hakushi. But I noted that King has just abandoned doing commentary altogether now, and he just tells gag after gag after gag. It's unbearable. He literally is like he's just reading from a book of jokes, and they're not funny.
There's not much to go on in the match, though, I guess, is there? So,
hey, what was he telling us at one point? Go on, Sam. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, you could just say what you're seeing. There is, although it's not a good match, there's still things happening. But he's just telling fucking bad jokes.
You had Garth Brooks's guitar in the ring with him. That he kept going on and on and on and on about.
Yeah.
Which I assumed was because something's going to happen to said guitar, because that's what they do on Raw. They tell you what's going to happen by very subtly telling you that something's there. Oh, is that King Mabel? No, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Is it?
Is Mabel going to come out?
How 90s, though, do you think Jeff Jarrett looked in this?
Fucking 90s.
Yeah,
it's horrible, isn't it?
I think he's good, though, because I hate him, because he's a
dick. He's a prickish heel. Yeah.
But there's like glorious 90s, as in Macho Man attire, circa 93, you know, the rockers in the early 90s, Big Boss Man. And then there's this kind of 90s where, like, who would even wear a top like that? So it's a choker. Then just with like those things that your nan hangs up in her caravan door, isn't it? Tucked into his fucking waistband.
I liked it.
Yeah, I've got one of them. It's underneath this top.
But I mean, he couldn't be any more 90s wrestler. So he had the lovely blonde mullet, a cowboy hat, the betting shop door separator thing, and his cowboy boots. I mean, what more do you need? Yeah.
He's in that
Garth Brooks guitar.
He's in that spot where he hasn't quite moved on from the 80s, but doesn't know what to do in the 90s. So he's just like, let's do as much shit as we can, brother. Isn't it?
A lot of people were like that in the 90s, to be fair.
Shawn Michaels, fucking hell, he's a prime example of it.
And then going back to what Sam said, you had King doing his Japanese stereotype jokes, wasn't he, about Hakushi's going to open a big and tall men's shop in Tokyo or something. And I was like, oh, come on, King, do we have to be doing this?
Yeah.
But then, didn't you find some of those jokes like that? It's like, I have to think about it because it's like, it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's not even like it's a really obvious insult.
It's just like, because Japanese people are generally shorter. Like, what a vague dig, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Oh, take this, you're slightly shorter.
That's the sort of thing someone would say to you, and then you'll be on your drive home, you'll suddenly go,
yeah,
bastard.
Exactly.
Should have said that.
It doesn't have an instant burn, does it?
No, well, perhaps we just prefer upfront racist or homophobic Jerry Moore.
Yeah, I mean, just be what you are. Come out of it.
Go all in. Go all in.
Don't make me work to find the racist connection. Just fucking bang it right
Knock
there.
Knock it out with me, yeah. Just call him a
Just
Jap.
let me judge you, yeah.
You know, I don't have anything against Puerto Ricans. I think everybody ought to own one or two of them.
If we switch over to Nitro, we are live from Charleston this week. Eric, Bobby and Mongo as usual. Eric hypes the main event of the Horsemen versus the Mega Powers of Hulk and Macho. Pepe is in a bomber jacket.
Well, you see the little guy's got his bomber jacket on, baby, because he's ready for the flag to fly.
Mongo looked like Steven Seagal, so I don't know what the fuck he was talking about with his brown jacket with his tassels on it.
Yeah, he's
the flak. I'm assuming flak jacket is some kind of army thing. So whether or not it's that, I don't know. But it didn't make any sense to me either.
We'll give him a ring. We'll see if he can work it out. But
yeah.
But Mongo looks at the card for the evening and says the other boys aren't doing that for their fans. And Eric says we've got some exciting action coming our way tonight. So a bit of a all right opening, but nothing too exciting, was it?
A lot, and I fucking love Nitro. Like I've considered recently. Yeah, you never know. I've considered recently just declining to comment on Raw. Just come back to me on the Nitro bit. I've got nothing good to say about Raw recently.
So's watching it.
And it's so good. And for the level of talent and the matches and the whole, as I say, every week, the whole overall look of a show is so amazing. You don't need to constantly do the whole dig the competition thing because there was so much of it in the first 20 minutes, wasn't there? It was constant. But do you notice Bobby Heenan doesn't at all ever get involved in that? Mongo does it and Bischoff does it. Heenan just lays out.
Weirdly. Is that Heenan though was WWF in his past, and that's why he won't burn those bridges? Maybe.
He's probably friends with a lot of people still in the company. Yet on the other side, Jim Ross just said he done the whole Scheme Gene bit, didn't he? And I get the feeling Jim Ross will just sort of like he's like, well, you're paying the wages. I'll say whatever you're telling me to say. But,
yeah, but I mean, you kind of do that if you're in a job, don't you? You kind of stick up for the
sell
company.
Your soul.
It's a bit like Seth Rollins, isn't it? He gets so much stick on Twitter because he sticks up for WWE a lot. He likes working there.
Sticking up for your company is one thing, but then actively sort of fucking
moaning about another company.
Yeah. I mean, none of us sort of have that, do we? But I guess
we could just sit and badmouth some other podcasts. Do you want to do that?
Do you talk about the stay-at-home dad down the road? Go, fucking. Have you seen the buggy he's got? Yes. Oh my god, I wouldn't be seeing
state of him. Look at that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He looks happy and like he's enjoying life.
Yeah, whilst you've got one of your kids dressed up as in a little bomber jacket when you're carrying her around like Pepe.
Fly the flak, kids.
Yeah.
Yes. Wearing a Monday Night Chores t-shirt.
Yeah. You're right though, Sam, about Nitro. It looks 100 times better than Raw, doesn't it? The presentation is amazing for 1996. Yeah.
It's insane, isn't it?
It's really good.
The set looks great.
Yeah, and just even when you cut to them and they're in like they've got like a thing around them, it looks like
the superstructure.
Yeah, whereas you turn around to Vince and Jerry and they just look like they're just.
And they've got kids behind them trying to stroke Jerry's mullet.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've got a black curtain with Raw written in front of it. Yeah. And you come through the curtain and dodge around an A. Like,
who'd just put a shitty curtain behind them with their logo on? Fuck's sake, Sam. It's embarrassing. Our opening bout on Nitro is Chris Benoit versus Alex Wright. Got Brian Pillman comes out with Benoit in some proper 90s shades, looking insane. Benoit looks terrifying, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
I absolutely no way in God's green earth would I mess with that man.
So does Pillman, to be fair.
Yeah, in his own way.
Fucking built, isn't he? Pillman's jacked. Like people always talk about him being a smaller guy. Like he ain't no small guy, is he?
It's the way he carries himself, though, isn't it? He
just carries comes across,
and the fact that he's absolutely built like a bodybuilder. Like it's that thing, isn't it? In the terms of wrestling, he's a smaller guy. If you're standing next to him, like waiting for a pint, he's a fucking great big fucking monster of a man, most likely, like Gaz.
Yep, but he looks like, as you said, Benoit comes out and looks scary in that kind of quietly threatening way where he looked like he'd really kill, but Pillman's that crazy loose cannon gimmicky type crazy way, the over the top guy.
Yeah, that bloke down the pub who threatens to glass you in the face and you're kind of laughing with him because you don't know if he actually will do it, sort of thing. But
you're more worried about his mate sitting behind him that's sort of sharpening that shiv that you think, oh shit. Yeah.
And then you go for a wee and climb out the tiny window in the cubicle.
Yeah. God, no, I put out my.
No. I just got a call out to go home.
Always go out this way.
Yeah, you get caught climbing out.
So as we get going, Benoit just destroys Wright before he's even got his jacket off. He's throwing him around with some suplexes and some really stiff elbows. Outside, you got Brian Pillman's walking around pretending to shoot himself in the head.
Wow.
Whew, that's some. We talk about Raw being great. Jesus, they're They're not mucking about there. 7 minutes in, Eric starts waffling on about how popular WCW is, and as a thank you during January, they're going to bring you exciting action to everyone for free. And he keeps talking about this all the time, doesn't he? That there's going to be all this action in January for free all night. But
they do one pay-per-view. So did they give away that pay-per-view that month?
I think they're talking that they have the pay-per-view, don't they? And then there's like another show.
So what they're doing is WWF were raising their prices on their pay-per-views, and they were putting all their prices up. Where they're saying they're going to keep them either the same or give away this sort of content for free.
Yeah.
And that lasted for probably about a month, and then Eric went, "Oh, get lots of money. Let's whack the prices up."
Balls to this, yeah. Alex Wright, he gets a snap suplex for a 2, and Brian Pillman trips him up. So Wright hits him with a dive over the top and attacks him on the floor. Love this bit. Brian Pillman's then running away like a little scared little dog, and he's like a little coward. Brilliant. Come back in. Wright misses a splash into the ring, and they fight over a German suplex until Benoit hits him with an absolutely stiff as you like forearm to the face. A dragon suplex finishes it after only 6 minutes and 45 seconds. At that point, we get Pillman gets back in. He gives him the 4 horseman sign, and then he spits in Alex Wright's face as well.
Know.
Like,
I mean, living in the COVID era, you're like, ooh.
Alex Wright was not expecting that either, was he? You could tell from that reaction he weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great opener of a match. It was nice watching Alex Wright. He was trying to keep up with Chris Benoit, but you can't keep up with Chris Benoit in the ring at the moment, can you? He's a million miles of him.
Great talent, though. And to think they said in this, Alex Wright is 19 years old. He's been with the company, so he joined the company at 18 with the power plant. Go back to episode 1 or 2 for whatever we used to call it.
3.
Alex Wright. Yeah. Or 4 or 5. It was a 6-parter on Alex Wright.
Yeah.
And Eric Bischoff says this is World Championship Wrestling. We've got people from Germany, Canada, England, all over the world. And it does feel a lot more international, whereas the international talent in WWF, the British Bulldog feels like an American creation. And British Bulldog has lived in America since he was 16 years old. Hakushi feels like an American's idea of what a Japanese guy should be. And WCW feels a lot more international.
Whoa. Yokozuna was Japanese. Come on, don't give me that.
Samoan guy pretending to be a Japanese guy. Yeah,
that's the one.
You're full, Sam.
Yeah. So sorry, I forgot about him.
But this is the sort of way you want to open a show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Fast paced, great match. Someone gets to look badass like Chris Benoit does, and Brian Pillman. I thought Pillman was doing great work outside the ring. I thought
Pillman was really good because he was playing that heel character. He comes across like a cool heel, like what NWO will end up being, but he still plays that cowardly, running away, dickhead, wussy heel kind of, because he doesn't want to get too over, even though they are massively over already, the 4 horsemen. The amount of cheering that they get and the signs and whatever else when they come out is insane. But he played that really, really well. I really like Pillman.
Yeah, I did. I never watched a lot of him back in the day.
Until he spat on a teenager who's 3,000 miles away from his home, who's just been defeated by a soon-to-be.
I like that. That's quite good.
Yes, that made me respect him more. That's what I like.
That's it.
If he'd spat in his mouth, I'd have been all over it. But...
If you're going to be a prick.
Do you know what Alex Wright should have done to counter that? Is he should have just gone, oh, yeah.
Would you like me to lap dance for you? Ooh, my peephole Pringle is modelled on an SAS balaclava. Sweet feet.
If we switch, wait a second, before we switch to Raw, 11 minutes in, just as we're about to switch over, Eric Bischoff sets in a...
Right here on Nitro where the big boys play.
Oh yeah, it's back, baby.
Yeah,
it's back.
It's in there. So if we do switch to Raw, we have the Slam Jam, and Doc Hendricks is gone, and it's JR who is going to be joined by Scheme Gene. Ross is telling us about the Royal Rumble, and the winner will get a title shot at Mania. Doug Gilbert from the USWA has entered, so fingers crossed for Doug. Jake Roberts, Jerry Lawler, Fatu, Isaac Yankum, TIT. Big Van Vader, we get Vader's promo again, and Vader starts shouting that it's going to be Vader time. Henry Godwin, Petty Jannetty, Karma, and Skip from the Body Donners entering. We then get Scheme Gene tell us superstars are coming out of the woodwork for this one. He can't give it to you now, but he'll give it to you later. This is like a play on the WCW hotline, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, we'll tell you now.
Ruthless stars are coming out of the woodwork for this one. I can't give it to you now, but I can give it to you later.
It's a piss poor lineup for a Rumble, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many, like, God, I mean, we all know there's going to be some filler in there, but why don't you announce, like, make more of a thing of the big top guys who are in there?
Well, this was my thing. When you've got Jim Ross saying the winner is going to get a title shot, well, bloody hell, skip from the body donners. I mean,
let's talk about people who are potentially actually in the mix of, you know,
why not
challenging for a title.
Hype Vader.
Are you telling me
that
Doug Gilbert's not going to get to the championship match then?
He goes to WrestleMania that year and beats Bret Hart in the end an Iron Man match.
Is he the bald guy that comes out?
Started off a whole feud.
Gilbert.
Oh shit! Oh,
it's where it all begun, isn't it? So,
yeah.
I thought it was poor. If you're going to try and hype your pay-per-view, you give me something. Give me a bit more Vader because you know he's at least.
That's what I took away from. I just thought, what a shitty lineup. You just look, you hear that, and you think, well, I don't want to watch this shit.
Yeah, Henry Godwin and Marty Jannetty.
But then I suppose if we put our 1996 goggles on, you could say they're trying to make guys look bigger. They're trying to push these new up and coming guys. Whereas maybe if they'd have just talked about the Diesels and the Shawn Michaels and the Undertakers, we'd all be sitting here now going, oh yeah, way to push a younger talent. And it's hard, isn't it? Because it's easy to be critical.
At the same time, you don't want to turn around and be like, there's going to be 30 men that enter. Here's 5. The other 25 have got no hope. You can't turn around and do that. So at least they are.
Just tell us the 25 who've got no hope.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe next week we're going to get a promo where they say Diesel and Shawn and Razor are going to be in it. Yeah, whatever. But I doubt it's WWE, isn't it? But, we come to Ahmed Johnson versus Jeff Bretler. What the bloody hell is Jeff Bretler the jobber wearing?
Worst ring attire I've ever seen in my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, with more Raw, we've got Ahmed Johnson one-on-one with Jeff Bretler. A rather unusual attire on the part of Bretler, who I think just hurt himself.
It's unreal, wasn't it? They were so big, his trousers. They looked like his nan's curtains.
They did literally look like he'd wrapped some curtains around his waist and then stapled them up the middle.
It was just, who sent him out there wearing those? It looked absolutely woeful.
Ahmed nearly killed him a couple of times.
Shit.
And I didn't even give a shit because he was wearing them fucking trousers. And I was just like, just break his neck.
The thing is, this match lasts 1 minute and 30 seconds, and all I've got written is Ahmed's got some pretty stiff suplexes in there, but I couldn't take my eyes off the trousers because it's like, why have you gone out there to wear this? Like,
beautiful. What are we talking about?
Gaz has got a pair on now.
A lovely pair of kecks they were.
I
Beautiful,
will pay
mate.
money to see you in them. No t-shirt, in something as close to them as you can find.
Oh, I'll have a look from my wardrobe for you.
And when we was on holiday once, Emily tried to convince me to buy some. We went in one of these shops where you buy fucking incense and like a statue of a Buddha with water coming out of it and stuff. And there was a rail of men's clothing, and on there was like trousers just like that. And
did you look inside the label and someone had wrote Jeff Bretler in the pants bit where he's coming to flog him?
Bretler pants. And I thought, yeah, and she just went on for ages. Oh, I think you look really cool, wouldn't it? You could just wear them around the house. And so, I was having none of it. Don't fucking think so.
I could see you with that kind of new age hippie stuff, Sam.
I don't want to walk around in baggy fucking trousers with Gishnu or whatever his name is on there. I ain't into all that.
Sam's hot take on.
I'd wear ones with the stars and bars on, or the Union Jack, but none of that other stuff.
Okay, you'll do. Come up here. Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei. Okay.
I thought this was all right as a squash match, other than his trousers being terrible. But if you want to send someone out there for a minute and a half and just get suplexed really stiffly and dangerously, yeah, why not? Who cares?
I'd watch Brett, whatever his name is. I'd let him have a spot for 4 minutes every week on Raw
with those trousers.
Yeah,
he should tag with Jeff Jarrett, Jeff and Jeff, the two Jeffs.
Be horrible.
Double J's.
As soon as I saw this match, all I thought was probably the same as you guys. Just what's going to be a minute squash match? Are we just going to put over how strong and how much Vince really likes muscly Ahmed? Is that what the plan is?
Yeah, 100%. That's all that's going to happen. The thing is, I've got Johnson, he looks amazing, but Christ, he's so sloppy and green in the ring. I don't get why they're doing this.
He weren't around for long, was he? I think 98, probably. He was gone by 98, maybe.
I think so.
I think the problem is, like, if you give him a squash match, he's just not good enough to do the moves that it makes him look good, if that makes sense.
That first
it just looks sloppy.
That first, I don't even know what it was, a sort of underhook suplex. He over-rotated the guy so much that he was about that far from landing on the... It was only the fact that Brett guy got his hands out and just sort of rolled through it.
It's like wrestling your mates, isn't it? You're just throwing each other around with no regard for their safety.
I just felt like that guy felt like getting up and just going, "What? Like, I'm not doing this." There was
This isn't worth $30.
Taking my trousers back to that shop I got on holiday.
Yeah. Is it worth it? Is it worth the $50 you're being paid? And you're not exactly, it's not going to go anywhere, is it? So why, like, what's in it for the guy?
Why do I nearly kill myself for this?
Yeah, just go back to the indies and, you know, do whatever the fuck, or your nan's curtain shop.
If we go back to Nitro, we have Lord Steven Regal versus Eddie Guerrero. I mean, this is great, isn't it? Out comes Regal to a lot of heat. He gets a lot of heat for just being British, I guess, doesn't he? So 12 minutes in, Bobby tells us Regal's been on a bit of a winning streak in the last month. He hasn't, Bobby. He wrestled against Benoit last week. That was his first singles win in WCW. And they won a couple of dark matches with Bobby Eaton in tag teams. But
what about Saturday night?
No, he's not been wrestling. He's just been doing dark matches and losing. So, yeah, not sure what that is. Eddie Guerrero.
Brother.
Yeah, well, that's it. They didn't have the internet back then to check it like I did.
Kayfabe stroke, make it up, Bobby.
Just lie, innit? It's like Goldberg. You know, he didn't win.
He's won 18 matches in the past week.
Yeah. He won 17 just as we're talking. Eddie comes out to a pretty good pop. 14 minutes in, and Bobby tells us a boring story about Mongo's coach telling him to hit someone, and Mongo just randomly talks about how everyone is a fan of WCW as it's where the big boys play.
And isn't that beautiful? How many fans, and it doesn't matter how big or how much of a celebrity they are, they're all fans of the WCW, my friend, because this is truly where the big boys play.
It's like they're not listening to each other, or they're like a video game that's kind of glitching and just saying shit. It's really weird. So odd start from them. As the match starts, they fought over an armbar and some pretty good mat wrestling gets us going on. 15 minutes in, Bischoff tells us we should forget about the Royal Fumble.
Forget about the Royal Fumble.
Yeah, and watch the Clash instead.
Yeah.
Sick.
Literally, let me just stop. Eric. Literally, let's just mention and plug the undoubtedly most entertaining single match in the whole of WWF.
Yeah.
Let's remind people that'll be on this month.
You could be watching,
but
the
don't
Clash.
watch it. Do not watch it.
Don't watch that amazing match. Yeah.
Not like anyone doesn't know anyway, but it's just like it's Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. I mean, the Rumble. I've never missed a Rumble, and I don't even like the current product. I watched the most recent one. I've watched all of them.
Yeah,
because it's a Royal fucking Rumble. Yeah, something's going to happen.
It's a great match, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah. Well, it is an amazing match. Yeah.
And the thing about it is, like, even if you don't watch, like, I don't watch WWE now, but you can watch the Rumble, and like 80% of the guys come out, and you don't know who they are. You're like, who the fuck's this guy? He's ripping his trousers off or whatever. But it's like, no, shit, still enjoy it because it's just.
And then Tatanka comes out, and you're, what? Hey, Tatanka's in it.
Tatanka is back.
They trade pinfall attempts for a couple of 2 counts, and Regal pounds him down. Regal gets a nice elbow for a 2, and he goes for a chin lock, but Eddie keeps fighting out of it. Regal puts him down with another forearm, and he kind of bitch slaps him around, doesn't he, a bit in the chest, and Eddie gets a bit pissed off with this and just gets the backslide for the win at 8 minutes and 13 seconds. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a bit plodding with some of the rest holds in the middle, and I love both guys, and I thought it was a nice clash of styles because you got kind of high-flying Eddie and mat-based Regal, but I was hoping for a little bit more.
Yeah, I love both these guys, and it was a great match, and my only criticism was it felt a bit long. It had me, and I don't know at what point I wrote down, started to felt like it's a bit long, and then probably 20 seconds after that it ended. So it obviously wasn't that much too long, but just as I started to think, my interest has kind of gone now, whereas really a wrestling match needs to start up here, die down, go up here and then end, doesn't it? So you start on a high, you end on a high, you have a bit of a whatever in the middle.
It felt a bit linear, didn't it? It was just
it kind of started up, came up a bit, and then it ended on the down again.
Yeah.
So I wasn't that excited at the end. But it was a very good finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, clever. It's like different.
Regal strong. Regal gave him a bit of a beating before he was sort of like, oh, I've lost.
Regal mouthed off about cheating Americans, and that's why Britain's better than America, didn't he?
He beat him. You can't believe it, can you, brother? No.
As well to
at the end bit.
Yeah, but no one understood what he was saying.
Tell you what I liked from that, and I didn't realise how big is William Regal.
Yeah, he's massive, isn't he?
He's massive, isn't he? I didn't realise, because Eddie's a big guy anyway. I know he's not a huge guy, but when you see him later on in WWF, he's short, but he was a big, well-built guy.
He was built,
Regal looked fucking gigantic next to him.
Yeah, he did. It's a shame that he's got the body of an unmade bed, really, isn't it? Because he does look big, but then stand him next to a Hogan or an Austin or whatever, and like we're saying about Pillman. If you were stood next to Regal at the bar in a pub, you'd be like, "Fuck me, he's a big built bloke." But when you get to that next level, he just kind of looks a bit flabby, doesn't he? But did you ever see Regal at Chancellor's Hall?
No.
I saw him a few times, and he stood out there as being like. He was the biggest guy there, probably in the most in shape guy. And he was in a tag team with Dave Taylor. And I remember seeing him a few times. And when he walked through those doors, he was like, he was the nearest thing to a WWF guy.
This is a proper wrestler.
He was probably 5 inches taller than Big Daddy, really. Because Big Daddy was fat, but he wasn't a big guy. But
I enjoyed the match, though. I thought it was good. I liked, as you said, the clash of styles with Regal, ground and pound, when he's slapping Eddie in the face.
Yeah,
I thought. He comes across like a fighter to me.
Yeah,
Regal, and doesn't let Eddie do any of his high flying stuff. But when he's pinning him and he's pushing his forearm into his face, it's all that kind of.
I love that. I love the forearm across the face.
That's a prickish heel.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that?
Small touches, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. But I thought it was a good match. But as you said, it was a little bit too long.
If we switch to Raw, we have a promo for The Undertaker, who'll be taking on Isaac Yankem next week on Raw, which is kind of nice. And then we've got Brother Love, like boo, with Ted DiBiase. Yay! And he's got his $1 million title. Ted says he's been searching for someone who'll exemplify what the $1 million champ means, and he searched 96 and couldn't find anyone, but he's finally found someone. And out comes, dun dun dun, it's the Ringmaster. Dun, 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 dun. They see it's what a shitty name for a star.
Where was the glass? There's no glass shattering. I was like, what's going on?
Let
me just finish this.
The crazy thing is, I can see some Stone Cold Steve Austin in there. His mannerisms,
you can,
how he talks.
Yeah.
But the volume's only on like 7 or 8. And you can totally see what he said about, I just knew Ringmaster was going to be a foot in the door. And apparently Vince kept editing him because he was too entertaining for a heel. And he would do these great promos, and then he'd see it on TV, and it had been cut down to just him going, I'm going to have a match and whatever. And apparently he went to Vince and said, look, I'm not 6'7". I'm not built like the Ultimate Warrior. The only thing I've got is my fucking promos. If you take them away from me, I don't stand no chance here. And apparently he just stopped editing all of his promos, and that's how he became the man.
Brother Ringmaster!
That belt would rival the crowd.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, man. Back up a little bit, brother. Everybody out there in TV land, I'm going to give you a chance to be somebody. Come on. Get the camera on that hand right there. I want everybody out there in TV land to touch your screen and feel what it's like to be destined for success.
Go ahead, King. I got it up there.
Feel what it's like to be
I'm
born
already
a
successful.
champion, man.
You better put your hand up there, McMahon.
I didn't come out here just to run my mouth, Brother Love. I'm here to prove every single thing I say. Me and the $1 Million Man talk. I'm in the Royal Rumble, man. I'm gonna prove how good the Ringmaster is. After I toss every single one of the WWF superstars over that rope right there, man, I'll be the one getting the shot at the World Wrestling Federation Championship. It doesn't mean anything compared to the $1 Million belt, of course. But in WrestleMania, man, I'm going to do it all, and you're going to see what the $1 Million Man and the $1 Million Champ are going to accomplish. And then I'll have every single thing that I want out of the WWF. And why is that? Because everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
It would have been better if he said, back up, tell me what you're going to do now. Keep rolling. What? Keep rolling. But he didn't.
The Undertaker, you can't do that.
I don't think that's
Biscuit is right here. One,
No.
Fred Durst has been sitting at home thinking, what's going on? And yeah, like you say, we saw flashes of proper Stone Cold Steve Austin there, didn't we?
But I can see that in Stunning Steve Austin from like 1993. That's because it's the same guy, I
just
guess.
him, innit? Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
him
I was
being
going to
him.
say, is it because he's just like that? Because,
I think
or is
he
it we know he's going to become the Austin 316
Both,
later on down the line?
isn't
We
it?
see that, but you can
It's
see in
both.
there that he's better than that gimmick he's been given.
But you know,
Yeah.
you work with it and turn
Yeah.
chicken shit into chicken salad, like I do.
What I'm
every week
trying
on
to
our
do
podcast.
here.
Yeah, exactly. So, right, we have Goldust versus Aldo Montoya, and the first thing I notice is Little Dustin is out to play this evening, isn't he? In his outfit, he's not leaving a lot to the
Little
imagination.
Dustin,
was-
Dustin, mate.
Whew, but that is
Everything's bigger in Texas, Dave. And do you know what? I feel ashamed because I didn't even notice his dick.
First
How did you not?
I probably weren't fucking paying attention like normal.
raw,
I
innit?
thought, as long as I make one note for this match, they won't fucking say nothing.
Well, I watched the 90s.
Instagram.
I watched the 96 Rumble and we get proper Goldust outfit there and Terry Runnels with him. So we don't have, sadly, his dick hanging out for much longer.
Well, they went for shiny one.
Yeah, 96 Rumble. So at the end of the month, he'll be more Goldusty than he is now.
Gold Dicky.
Yeah, Gold Dicky. 19 minutes in, Vince said you should never turn your back on a man like Goldust.
It's over him from behind. Aldo Montoya should never turn his back on a man like Goldust. Oh, my goodness.
Because he's got an erection.
Yeah, because he's...
And we think he might be gay.
Yeah, he might be gay. He's got his cock out and all that stuff. But Goldust attacks Montoya. He gets him with a backdrop suplex. Goldust stomps away, but Aldo comes, has a bit of a comeback and walks into the curtain call after only 3 minutes. I say curtain call. Vince says it's just a devastating maneuver, obviously. But
I had to look that up to find out what that was because I thought that can't be called a devastating. That's got to have a name like a finisher.
And I bet it was, wasn't it? It was a devastating.
It was
maneuver.
devastating.
A devastating maneuver.
Yeah, I've got it's a bit of a character building match on it just to get him out there and see Goldust doing Goldust things.
Yeah,
I kind of get it, but it's not much of a match. Aldo Montoya was having a bit of a push, wasn't he? But that's gone out of the wayside now, isn't it? So,
do you know who Aldo Montoya is?
No. Should I?
Sam?
Is it Steve Austin?
I do you know what? When it said no, I don't, but I feel like
ECW guy.
Paul Heyman.
It's just incredible.
Shut up.
Wow. Yeah, Aldo Montoya. That's his real name, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Just
no, his
incredible.
real name is his real name Shawn Maloko?
You just making just names up and just shouting them out.
Is
Is his name?
Is his name James Mounsey?
Just
his name's-
incredible.
He tried to get on the show, lads. So
Are you telling me his real name's not Justin?
No, he
Credible?
didn't. That was a fake account, Dave. Did you not see the?
was it?
Yeah, I thought
Shut
you would have seen it. Yeah, someone
I
he or
dismissed
someone
it.
else put something out saying there's a fake account going around pretending to be Just Incredible, inboxing people asking for $50 to put on their show. It wasn't him.
Oh,
It was
that's,
GG on
Yeah,
wrestling.
no,
that's a shame
His-
because I dismissed it out of hand because he's not famous enough for us.
his real name is Peter Joseph Paloko.
Peter
What is it
Saunders.
about ECW guys being put in masks? Were they all just ugly? And then when they got
Yeah.
to ECW, the land of the misfits, Paul Heyman was like, "It's fine. Take off
Embrace
your
it, yeah.
mask. Be who you
And
are."
then set him free and just
We
threw him in
mask
there.
you, Sam.
I can just see Jerry Lynn turning up and going, "Thank God!" And then Aldo Montoya going, "It's me, Just Incredible."
Just masks
Even Al
coming off
Snow
the
turned up.
place,
Avatar turned up. Hey, I'm Al Snow. Fucking great.
Oh, it's going to be a bastard editing in all those things, isn't it? If we switch to Nitro, Mean Gene is with Luger and Sting. He mentions the new generation have added a couple of guys who are close to collecting their social security. I don't really know who that is.
Unlike the new generation who just added a couple of, well, let's say this, they're very close to collecting Social Security.
It's Vader.
Vader, is he that old? They've got
No,
Hogan.
he's not. He's not, but he's there.
Flair.
That's the only person I can think of.
That's
No
what I
one
thought,
else.
but-
Common sense doesn't matter here.
No.
It's a
As in last week when Vince McMahon claimed that Hulk Hogan's too old and Macho Man, their champion's too old. You've got, what's his fucking name? I think he called him Bob Dylan.
Bob Backlund.
Bob Backlund, who's 4 years older.
I just, I
Dylan in
love
the ring.
Mean Gene here, just stirring the pot. He's just such a shit stirrer.
He says,
Scheme
I love him, though.
he comes
Scheme
out,
Gene.
all he says is Sting's got some questions to ask Luger, and this is the place for it. And Lex says, "No, let's do it in the back." And Sting's like, "No, he's got some questions he wants to ask him live right here on national TV."
It wasn't fair to Luger, was it? Because Luger was like, we talked earlier in the day. You asked all your questions. Don't fucking come out here and
don't ask me him again because I couldn't answer them correctly the first time.
You know when you have an argument with your missus, and then you go down the pub, and then she brings it up again and wants to have it out in front of everyone.
I was about to say that. You're having a Nando with friends, and she's like, "Fuck me, we spoke about this in the car."
Yeah, we've moved on from this. Like, sort yourself out.
Sting, you've got some questions for Lex Luger, and I think this is the perfect forum.
What do you mean questions? I thought
He's got some questions.
We match in the Clash. We got questions. We can answer them in the back.
No. I do have a question. I've got a question that I want to ask you live on national TV right here.
Let's have it, Sting.
Yeah, it seems like you have a problem with this. I'm hoping you don't. That's all I got to say.
Do you have a problem with this, Lex?
Well, what are we talking about? The triangle match? We've already talked about that. We've come to, sometimes in the heat of battle, things happen.
No, we're not. We're not talking about the heat of the battle. We're not talking about what happened during the match. We're talking about what happened after the match.
Anyway, Sting says that he's got some questions about them both getting counted out at Starrcade, and he says Lex was pulling him into the ring, so they both got counted out. And that match was terrible in the end. In the finishes,
Luger was really a victim of circumstance here because you can actually see Luger was hurt, and he was trying to pull himself up. He didn't realise Sting was trying to get back in the ring. Basically, it wasn't an honest mistake.
Do you think he was so blinded with pain that he was just he
was in a lot of pain because he wouldn't do that to Sting because he's his mate.
He's the fucking moron, and he's just I went there.
Don't talk about Sting like that. He's lucky to have a good friend like Luger.
We all wish we had
why does Luger have to keep proving himself over and over again? He's a total package. He's solid.
Is he the Sam Wakefield of WCW?
He does this, Gaz. And Pyro goes off behind him. Why are you questioning him? Why are you questioning his moral fibre? He ain't trying to hide his face with paint, is he?
Should be wearing a mask, to be fair.
He could go to ECW.
He could go to ECW, yeah, exactly.
Be Max Luger.
Be thrown through a table.
Oh no, he could probably be Lex Luger because WCW weren't smart enough to patent their names, were they?
Vince would get him in and just call him something stupid, the gobbledygooker, and just bury him anyway. So just to prove a point, it was a weird one because Lex is just saying he was reaching out to Sting as a friend and he had an injured knee. But then he says, "Let's be a tag team. Let's just go out as a tag team at the Clash of Champions."
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We'll team up.
The weird thing is, Sting's gone, "I never thought of being a team. Fucking great idea."
Yeah.
Lex says, "Let's do it." Sting says he's in. And then Mean Gene just goes, "They're wrestling the Blue Bloods at the Clash." So a team that has literally just been formed in this very second is also already booked in for a match against some sort of shitty
Mean Gene can do that. It's in his
Mean
contract.
There, but, yeah.
Well, the thing is, it just shows why Luger really is a good friend because Sting selfishly is more concerned about winning the match than helping up his friend with a broken knee. And so what Luger is saying, let's be more friends. So it's like, I'll fuck over Gaz up and I'm like, let's be friends. friend. Let's forget about what I done to you yesterday. Let's be best friends now. Let's move in together. You don't trust me, but I'll prove it to you by just saying we're better mates now. We'll be friends forever.
Yeah,
nothing bad will come of this.
Problem I've got is didn't Sting just get nobbled over by Ric Flair, obviously, only a few months ago, and now he's just getting. I mean, poor old Sting he can't catch a break, can he?
Is it really wrong of me as a 37-year-old man that I stood up and shouted at my TV? I actually got up and I said, "Don't do it, Sting." I actually shouted at my television set. Like he could hear me, and two, we're like 25 years ago.
If only we could stop.
But I was getting really angry that he wouldn't understand that Lou was just fucking mugging him off.
He's like a little puppy dog. You can just keep whipping, can't you? Yeah. And then you can go, come on, sit on my lap. I won't fucking hurt you.
He takes the smallest amount of convincing of just Lex going, no, I didn't do that. Let's be tag team partners.
Yeah, that's how, and I love that. Yeah, okay. That's how Lex brushed over it. He used Sting's own ego against him. Like, well, yeah, that is questionable. I've got an idea. Let's tag. But I don't just want to be two guys tagging. I want to be an actual team. And you can get them
friendship
as pop. Have you seen them as pop vinyls, Gaz?
Can you what?
Hang on.
You have to go
Lex
look.
Luger, Sting, pop vinyls.
We spent ages just have to cut in a single picture of this when I edit this.
Why does what comes up first is Edge? That's weird.
I seriously just couldn't get over how angry I was getting at Sting, not realising what's going on. And I knew then that Sting watch is a real thing.
The last line I've got written here, I've got Lex is a charisma black hole.
Sexy bastard. Oh.
He's absolutely woeful.
He is, isn't he?
His hair, whack. His gear, whack. His jewelry, whack. His footsteps, whack. The way that he talks, whack. The way that he ooh-woos, whack.
Nothing good comes from Lex Luger. He can't even play it off as like, no, sorry, Sam, just not feeling it with Lex.
I just don't feel like there's ever. How am I ever going to convince you two that Lex Luger is the pinnacle of pro wrestling?
He's a roided up Rod Stewart. That's all he's got there.
Yeah. Who thinks he's Rod Stewart?
And who has got a chest that square and that?
No one, for good reason.
Yeah, because no one else is the total package. Take my t-shirt off and do it in a minute if I really need to.
Go on, I want to see you do
that'll put bums in seats.
Luckily, the camera isn't quite down where you can see like my little belly just hanging over my chinos.
Pot-bellied pig.
Like the thing from 4 Kids in it, whatever it is, the little sand creature.
I've managed.
That's it, the Sammy.
I've managed at the tender age of 36 to be both skinny and flabby at the same time. I didn't think it was possible. But I've done it. Yeah.
It's like you've got hair but bald as well. Good combo.
Yeah, I've pulled off a lot of things. Yeah. It's like I'm
just a walking contradiction.
I'm not in jail. Yeah. I'm everything.
But
I'm everywhere and nowhere at once.
I'm everything and nothing. Yeah.
Like a weird rhythm.
I could be the devil.
Oh dear.
If we switch to Raw, we have Jim Ross doing the Slam Jam, and it's the Shawn Michaels press conference at last. A sad, absolutely, a sad Shawn Michaels tells us his doctors have told him he should no longer compete in the WWF.
My doctors and the people around me think it will be best that I no longer compete in the World Wrestling Federation.
But shock horror, he is throwing his hat into the Royal Rumble. And I love this. A bunch of marks in the press conference just stand up and start giving him a round of applause and cheering.
And loads of kids in there as well, in there.
Absolute chumps. There's some woman who stands up who looks like a lunatic.
But Shawn Michaels is throwing his name in the many names that will be competing at the Royal Rumble in Fresno.
He says whoever is wearing the title belt, they will be facing HBK at Mania. And he will win the strap and carry the WWF into the new millennium. He looks fucking miserable as sin in this, though, doesn't he? Jesus. For a big, I'm coming back, lads, it was a fucking hell.
Because whenever he's on TV, he has to stop taking his perks and he gets on an instant come down. So it's just like, oh, really happy to be here. Like, anyway, I have 2 questions.
Question.
How'd you like the diamonds on my ring? 50-50 in relationship. Question? I don't know where my questions are. Right, 2 things. Sorry. Was that a real press conference, or was that a kayfabe press conference? It was actors.
It was kayfabe.
So was it like Dave Meltzer?
There was about 7 kids in the audience, or doing the journo bits.
So was it just wrestling mags there who were just invited, come along to a WWE?
I don't think so.
I don't think
it's
it's
just
Wasn't it that?
producers and people from
Well,
Raw.
half of them
and
look like my
the
mum
guy
and
that
stuff like
built
Because I
that.
know in the past when they've done it, they've just invited Pro Wrestling Illustrated and all the other wrestling magazines
Melts
to
of the
make
mark.
it look like
the
when
guy
they
that
used
Bob
to have.
Backlund chicken winged, who was a sound engineer, he was there.
Do you remember there was a short amount
JL.
of time where they used to have
Yeah.
photographers around ringside?
Yeah.
And it was just like
WrestleMania
members of
9,
Kai
innit?
and Ty or whatever. And yeah. My second question is, not that long ago, we were all told that Shawn Michaels is damaged beyond repair, and actually it's our fault because we've been buying pay-per-views and Shawn Michaels t-shirts and cheering him on. Now he's hurt, like, you arsehole. So now he's having a press conference where he's saying, I'm not medically cleared. The doctors, promoters, and everyone has said I should never wrestle again, but I'm entering myself into a Royal Rumble. And then they cut back to Vince, and Vince is ecstatic.
Of course he is.
Ecstatic. You're going to be like, hang on, Vince. People have said it's not safe for him to wrestle.
All right, King, your reaction to that extraordinary announcement.
Vince just thinks to himself, don't worry, because if he gets hurt and he has to quit, we'll just tell the fans it was their fault.
If he dies, it's your fault. Yeah.
And if he ever manages to get out his wheelchair and walk, we'll let him do another match. And we'll tell the fans it was their fault again.
Don't you feel they kind of botched this whole storyline, though? That
Oh,
for a
so
moment
is
they
it-
had something. And I'm not sure what they had, but the whole knocking up.
Yeah, but
thing-
when you say as well a moment, it was a tiny moment, wasn't it?
I guess.
The
It
end
just-
of that Raw, that was it.
But it feels like from that moment onwards, they've just backtracked to try and just get back
Yeah.
to, no shit.
What they probably should have
bollocks
done is just not had Shawn Michaels on TV for 8-9 weeks, not really talk about it, not make a music video. Not make a fake press conference, not do a sit-down interview where Shawn gets upset and walks out. Just say Shawn Michaels is not medically cleared, maybe mention it 1 or 2 times, and then at some point go, great news, guys. And maybe it'll be like, oh, fuck, we thought we'd lost Shawn Michaels. No, but every single week being told you'll never see him again. He can't wrestle.
Here he is.
There he is. Yeah. Is it Shawn Michaels? Is that Shawn Michaels? Could it be Shawn Michaels? Yes, Vince. It's fucking Shawn
I
Michaels.
see a HBK kind of character. Yeah, we get some reactions from other wrestlers about his entry.
Oh.
Jerry
Oh,
Lawler.
no. God.
Jerry Lawler says it's the biggest mistake of his life.
This is the biggest mistake in Shawn Michaels' life.
Diesel says he wants his belt back, but it's great to see Shawn Michaels back.
Hey, I wish him all the luck in the world. He's my best friend.
Razor says he thinks it's too soon, Chico, but he's got lumps on his head and he put some of them on there. But if he's in the Rumble, Shawn's going to win it.
But I know this, if the Heartbreak Kid is in that Royal Rumble, he'll win it.
Owen says he and Shawn both know deep down he's hurt him, but he says Michaels isn't ready and he'll be a marked man. And Hart says he'll make sure he never wrestles again.
Believe me, you're a marked man. And I'm the first man that's going to get my hands on you. I'll make sure that you never wrestle again.
I mean, this was unbelievably cringe, wasn't it?
What I wanted was Brett. They just cut to Brett and he goes, he's a prick.
This
And then
is
that just
bullshit.
cuts away. That's it. That's it. Fucking
Well,
ace
you've
him.
been away,
Thanks.
Shawn.
And
I've
that's the
been
end of
fucking
it.
sunny. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Sunny days, you cunt.
Fucking hell. Yeah, this was proper cringy, wasn't it?
I am glad, like I said last week, that 95 was my wrestling gap year. Because I don't even know if 11-year-old, 12-year-old Sam would have stood up for this. I stopped watching, like 93 when everything was all kind of still like how we remember it. And then came back in 96, September of 96, Survivor Series. So like, it's like the wrestling gods just took me away and went, don't look at this, my child.
Covering your
You can
eyes.
Come back another day. And then they've gone, now come back for the good stuff. So I could be here today to make this.
I struggle with the idea. I mean, you'd have to really love Shawn Michaels to just ignore the fact that your other favourites are basically going, oh, Shawn Michaels is lovely and brilliant. And you're like, oh
yeah, I hope
come
he's
on,
all
man.
right.
Oh, he's a really good guy and I think he'll win the Rumble. What a champ. You're like, oh, come on. It's too cringe for me. But, Vince loves it. So.
It's like Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes telling QT Marshall.
Warning. The following bit featured Sam waffling about AEW under the supervision of professionals. Accordingly, Monday Night Chores and the producers must insist that no one attempts to recreate or reenact any of this chat. If you do like AEW, check out the thing he does with GG on wrestling.
If we switch over to Nitro, we get a hype for WCW Saturday night. And did you notice they've got Macho versus Flair on WCW Saturday night?
A return match, the world title on the line. Ric Flair defends against the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Didn't see that, no.
They're not pissing around with their B shows, are they? They're just like, yeah, we'll have a rematch of the world title match. So
It's no AEW Dark, is it? With Marco Stunt versus number 7.
Have you seen there's a new AEW show called House? The House always wins.
Warning. The following bit featured Sam waffling about AEW under the supervision of professionals. Accordingly, Monday Night Chores and the producers must insist that no one attempts to recreate or reenact any of this chat. If you do like AEW, check out the thing he does with GG on wrestling.
we have Sting versus Diamond Dallas Page after 25 minutes in. While Page is coming out, Bobby says everyone is calling him Diamond Dolus Page.
Everybody's calling him Diamond Dolus.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say no one has ever called him Diamond.
I was going to say, when he says everyone, does he just mean he thought of that then and thought, shit, everyone's calling him this? Just throw it out there.
I can't imagine anyone's mentioned Diamond Dolus, but Sting looked amazing, but I was a bit gutted that he didn't have his jacket on tonight. So.
Do you know what? I did get a little bit sad that he had no jacket on. I mean, he's been to the zoo again. He's got his tiger face paint, so he's happy, but no jacket. I was a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, give me the good Sting. That's what I want. But insane start to the match as Diamond Dallas Page like rubs a lit cigar in Sting's face.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? It's taking control of a match and taking control of a match, isn't there? But
I didn't think that was allowed.
I don't know. Is it in the rules, though?
No, it's allowed. Did you... Oh, no, it's the next match.
We'll go.
I'm just going to try and say things that are only relevant from now. The old alcohol-free wine's hitting me hard.
Well, Sting, he drop kicks him through the ropes after Page does a kind of cool spot of holding on to the middle and top rope. He follows it up with a dive. Back in, they kind of botch a leapfrog that seems to mess up Sting's knee quite legitimately for a bit. He kind of struggles to get around a bit. Page hits a backdrop suplex and a neck breaker and goes to a chin lock and uses the ropes and things like that. At 30 minutes in, Eric says,
A man is going to have to pass through a metal detector to get to the ring based on what happened at Starrcade and last week. The guy's got more metal in his trunks than anybody I've ever seen.
Arn Anderson?
Yeah, you bet I am.
So does he go through all of the wrestlers' trunks?
Well, this is what I thought.
I just want to see if there's any metal down there.
Who doesn't do that?
Oh, no metal in there. There's something quite hard. Next guy, Luger.
We're going to have to start doing this before episodes of Monday Night Chores, where I'm just going to have to go in there, delve deep. You just have to show me on your webcam that, you know, you're not packing any steel
Metal.
rods.
Foreign objects.
The botched leapfrog was ugly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bad one, wasn't it?
It looked painful, didn't it? Was it in his knackers he got whacked? Or?
Yeah, it looked like the knackers, but then he seemed to struggle with the knee a bit, didn't he? Because
Mongo,
there's a few Irish whips and things like that. So
Mongo says that was down in the nether regions where you don't want anyone playing. And I thought...
And Eric went, I'll play down there.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought, like, don't you want... I mean, you don't want a 6'1" guy with a painted face headbutting you in your balls, but to say you don't want anyone playing down there...
Yeah, if you treat it right, then yeah.
Yeah, if you play nice. Yeah,
exactly.
I love it just cuts to Eric. He's like, it's where the big boys play. Pointing to his knackers.
It is dick. Sting fights up and quickly hits a Stinger splash, but Page escapes the Scorpion Deathlock and gets a neck breaker for a 2. Sting goes for a small package for a 2 count, but a blind charge hits an elbow, gets a 2 for Page. Sting's just had enough. He just pushes him over and whacks with the Scorpion Deathlock at 6 minutes and 22 seconds. He's like, bollocks to this, I want to get home.
I didn't think at any point during this match Sting was losing.
No.
I couldn't see him getting pinned or maybe a DQ finish. That kind of someone runs in and Luger forgets his cue or something and runs out. We tag him,
but do we need to have it? Do we need to worry about that? I like seeing Sting beat someone fairly established.
Yeah, no,
you know, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you can't, and it's impossible to have a wrestling show where it's totally unpredictable in every match who's going to win. Wrestling generally follows that thing of like squash, kind of not sure, main event. Like, I don't know, it's wrestling, isn't it? At the end of the day, you're you know who your stars are, and I guess you save that kind of drama for the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Unless you're Raw in '95 and you go squash, Shawn Michaels.
And like
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. That's just how it works.
If we switch over to Raw, we are being shown Brett versus Bulldog from In Your House, and it is the return of the spunk-covered logo for the start there. We get some mat wrestling to start. They trade a lot of wrist locks. Davey Boy catches him coming off the ropes with a nice knee to the midsection and hangs him in the tree of woe. We get a real odd thing where Davey Boy manages to punch Earl Hebner in the face with his backswing and knocks him on the floor. Then he helps him up. Did you spot that one?
Yes.
It was weird as anything. What sort of heel knocks a referee down then starts lifting him up again?
Earl.
Sorry, Bob. You know what I mean?
Maybe it just weren't a part of the fucking match. Maybe clumsy Davey Boy just knocked him over.
It weren't part of the match. It was clearly a mistake. But as you're a heel, you don't turn around and go, "Oh, sorry, Bob." You know, I'll
Can you do do it in the Manc accent, Dave?
Don't care. That's the Bulldog impression.
Only he did care, didn't he? And I think that's the thing. Maybe Bulldog, like he was playing a bad guy, but he broke character.
Yeah, it don't work there, does it? Brett's corner bump gives the Bulldog a 2 count. A back body drop gets 2, and Bulldog holds a side leg for a while. We then get a flash of a viewer discretion is advised comes up after the latest thing. And outside, Brett gets tossed into the stairs and does a fairly obvious blade job. And we get a humongous pool of blood on the mat.
Oh, was that for the blade job, the view? I thought it was because it was cut into Dinah Hart. And I thought, oh, fuck yeah. Discretion advice for that.
So,
ignore this sour cow.
Apparently, Brett told Vince it was a hard way.
Yeah.
I can see, and I, being a wrestling geek, used to be more concerned for this sort of thing of like, when you can see a wrestler's hand like this, and he's got a guy in a headlock and his hand, you can see Brett holding the blade for quite an amount of time. I mean, there's a Triple H match somewhere. I can't think what it is, but you can see his hand and finger like this through an Irish whip for a few moves, and then he gets it. Come on, Vince. Like, okay, Brett turned around and went, oh, it was a hard way. Maybe that was enough for him. So he can go back to boys and go, no, or he can go back to TV company and just say,
yeah,
it was a hard way. But actually, anyone who could look at the footage could see that he was holding a blade in his thumb and forefinger.
It's not even that. It's the fact he was down with his hand.
Nothing happened to his head, did it? Nothing. He got thrown out the ring
for ages, just in this position. Then he gets up, and my God, it is.
He was pissing blood, wasn't he?
He was. I mean, I'm not a deathmatch fan. I don't mind a bit of blood, but Jesus, compared to what we see at the moment, that is a lot of blood.
Gaz, you watched the Hitman Austin match. So do you know the story behind that? Why Austin bled so much? Because Vince still had a no blood policy then.
Yeah,
and Brett said to him, look, we can't have this fucking high stakes match with no blood. It's just not going to make sense for weapons, all the...
Oh, when he's been submitted, you mean? In the end of the
show? Yeah. Well, no, just for blood in general. Yeah. So Austin didn't want a blade because he was fairly nude for company still. So Brett said, I'll do it for you. So if you notice, he Irish whips Austin, he sort of into the post.
Yeah.
And then, so Brett does it for him, and you literally just see Brett just go across. He just holds him and goes like that. And you can read about it in both their books. But
we do get a nice "He's Hardcore" chant for Brett during this one at your house, which I thought was good.
Unfortunately, Bret Hart is...
Bulldog gets on the offense. He goes for a bow and arrow, which is a pretty cool move, but Brett reverses it into the sharpshooter, but Bulldog escapes that one. The mat at this point is covered in Brett's blood. We get Vince telling us not to get any close-up shots as well during all this. So
he sounded proper pissed.
There was a couple of times.
That weren't commentary. That was actually just an audible to the producers. No fucking close-up shots. We're going to lose TV deals.
Well, because the weird thing is the match kind of is, it's weird because we don't get any of those close-up moments on it because they clearly don't want to be seeing how cut up his face is. But it's kind of cool, though. Brett backdrops the Bulldog out. Bulldog pulls up the mats and Brett blocks a suplex and crotches him on the railings, which was pretty nasty. Back in, we get a suplex, which gets a 2 for Brett. Bulldog eats a foot for a blind charge, and a cradle gets the win for the Bret Hitman Hart. It was a great match, but the end is a bit of a damp squid in it. Blood, guts. He made Davey Boy look $1 million, didn't he?
Do you think it was better than the SummerSlam match at Wembley?
No.
So I know a lot of people have said it is a better match than the. I don't know whether or not I look at the SummerSlam match the same way probably you guys do, nostalgia in '92, and it was
a
at that
bigger
time.
Event. It was a bigger
event.
The problem is when you hold an open air event in front of 90,000 people in a foreign country, it could well be a fucking better match if they were both done in front of a green screen or just in an empty arena or whatever. But you're not going to get the same in an auditorium in front of 4,000 people. Doesn't matter how good it is. It's not gonna. No, it's not. It's just not as good.
No,
it's
I agree.
More than just the actual mechanics of the match, isn't it? I guess it's everything.
It's the spectacle.
All taken in context. I'm still not a fan of us showing pay-per-view matches on Raw, though. Other than the fact we're getting to watch some good wrestling for a change, but
it feels
I like
like
it.
it.
Doesn't it?
I find it like a nice. I find it a nice little let up when it came on and it said in your house. I was like, well, fuck me. At least I'm not watching Raw for a few minutes.
Only thing I would say though with that is, doesn't this night you think that they've got nothing to put on, which makes me worry.
They've only got 45 minutes to fill.
That's what I mean.
And they're struggling to fill it. Yeah, they're doing 9 minutes of a pay-per-view. Like, what of a live crowd seeing in there? They're just watching a bunch of shitty mid-card matches. And out of that, they're scraping a couple of decent matches and then going, well, just throw a pay-per-view on.
Yeah, it's
bad.
It feels a bit of a cop-out. But at the same time, I guess they've got a chance to cherry-pick some good content to try and get people watching their pay-per-view. Double-edged sword, I guess.
Good match, though.
Yeah. Great match.
match.
Better than anything else we normally watch on Raw.
Yeah.
So I'd rather watch that than a hog-ped match, between Triple H and Henry Godwin, So if we switch back to Nitro, we have Eric hyping the main event about to come. Hogan says he'll take on all 4 of the Horsemen if he has to. Macho wants Arm. Seems like they were just filling time here, kind of waffling on before the main event started. And we get Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage versus Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. 37 minutes in, Mongo starts singing a song about Ric Flair.
And the Rockets' red glare.
Go get the guitar.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, that was weird, but I don't know what's going on. I thought Ric Flair looked good, but my God, I thought Arn Anderson looked amazing coming out there. He just looks so legit.
I mean, come on. 2 things. There was a really old man in a flat cap wearing a Hogan vest in the front row.
Yes, there
Did you
was.
see that? Fucking amazing. He looked like the sort of guy who still believed it was real. And if one of the bad guys come near him, he was legitimately going to swing.
You're going to knock him out, yeah.
And then seeing Macho and Hogan, both in red and yellow, both looking tan, both looking massive. They just stood head and shoulders above everyone else. Absolutely.
Before that, though, when we had the Horsemen come out, we still didn't see Rick with the belt.
Do you know what I was going to say? Is he still the champ? Because I've not seen the belt on him yet. He is, isn't he?
Why the fuck's he not wearing it then?
I'm assuming he is under that robe, but they don't ever show it.
On this one, I had a sneaky watch for this one. I don't even know if he was wearing it because you don't see it get passed to anyone. And
do you know if there's a reason? Like, that's your champion. That is a thing you need to show.
Do you know what the most annoying part is? Is the man wears a beautiful robe.
Yeah.
That gives him that beautiful moment
to unveil the belt. Yeah.
It's like when you go to the bedroom and you're putting the moves on the missus.
Oh,
and you pull your top off and she's like, yes.
Put it back on.
Yeah.
Man boobs, a belly, and a flaccid dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
That's what my wife enjoys. So,
whoa.
Yeah, it's just...
Thank God she does.
She's sitting in the exact spot where me and Sonia have it off.
So are you still doing it twice a day?
Yeah, diary permitting.
Can't be doing yourself a heart attack.
No, it's actually quite good for you. It's good for you. It's cardiovascular exercise. Because if you think about it, it's like press-ups, isn't it?
I suppose, yeah, because you're sort of working the major muscle groups, like,
That is a woman.
It looks like long hair.
Could be Brian May.
Macho Man comes out and his red and yellow looks amazing, but I thought he looked a bit of a bitch coming out to Hogan's music.
World Heavyweight Champion, Ric Flair.
Any place else on the planet don't
as well, though.
I thought I'd got the wrong show. I was watching the Mega Powers, and I was like, "What's happened here?"
Well, this is Mega Powers, isn't it?
Yeah,
For all intents and purposes. Should they have come out separate then? Should they have come
100%.
out to he's
100%.
an American and then Land of Hope and Glory?
Yeah, let Macho come out first if you want. Send him Macho out to begin with, and then Hogan comes out, and they're both coming out to his music. It just looks like you're sending your
Did you
manager
see
out.
on the floor there was
Hogan pictures? Yes.
Yeah, like spotlights of him on the floor. That was fantastic. Yeah, projected.
insane.
Yeah,
Have you got one for the bedroom?
I wish.
I've got ones on the C-Max, actually. When you open the doors, you get a little Ford logo.
It's the same, but nearly there. We start this one out, and Ric Flair is desperate for Hogan to start, so he tags him in and immediately just gets dominated by Hulk. Hulk no-sells the chops, and he hits his big boot, and the Horsemen go running, and the crowd is going pretty down the middle for this one. I'd like to say they were anti-Hogan, but there was a bit for both, wasn't there? So
I would say that Hogan got his usual pop on his entrance, and then the crowd quickly cooled down on him. So they got that initial, whoa, we're seeing Hulk Hogan. And then as the match went on, I think it was probably 60 towards Flair and Anderson, maybe 40.
So I think it was more when you watch Flair and Arn get in the ring. Do you see that they cut to the crowd all bowing to them and doing the 4 horsemen sign and everything else, and then when Hogan comes out, they cut to the 3 guys have managed to find wearing all the Hogan merch in the world, plus the kids.
Probably who they've said, we'll give you a free beer each and a Hogan vest, guys. Just keep fucking cheering.
And then you got the kids with the toys and the foam fingers, but they know that that's Hogan's market, isn't it? It's the younger fan, like the John Cena's, whatever. He markets himself, and they're very clever at that. So I'd probably say it's more like 80-20 in favour of the 4 horsemen. They're so over, Flair and
everyone's going to pop for that initial Hogan entrance, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then when the bell rings and it all settles down, you're going to be actually like, oh, because I mean that the big boot and the leg drop was the weakest I've seen. Yeah, it was so uncoordinated and weak. That's like fucking. He's going to take a pinfall to that.
Well, it's just Hulk. I mean, this one wasn't a great match. They kind of bumbled through it a lot. At 46 minutes in, the weird thing is Eric Bischoff says everybody wants a shot at Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage.
Everybody in WCW wants a shot at Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Why does everyone
want a shot at Flair?
Yeah,
Flair's
this is
champ.
exactly what I thought. Why are we just saying that we want a shot at Hulk and...
No.
It's
typical is
logic.
The red-headed stepchild, isn't he? The bastard son, whatever you want to call him. He's the caretaker, holder of a belt.
But why does everyone want to have a go at Hulk? What, to prove yourself that you can beat? There's just no logic to it. I'm happy to suspend most logic, but
this is the better of the 2 shows.
Don't spoil it, Sam.
Oh, man, that's my opinion.
It's wrong. Actually isn't, but we come back from a break, and Arn has an abdominal stretch on Hogan, on Savage. Sorry, Flair hits a back suplex for a 2 count. He tries the figure 4 leg lock on Savage, and he cradles it for a 2 count, but the Horsemen keep kind of cutting off the ring. Eventually, you get the hot tag to Hogan, and the crowd are not particularly thrilled about that.
Oh, it takes years. Oh yeah! Here we go. Here we go.
Arn takes him out with a spine buster, which Hulk no sells, and we get the big boot and the leg drop for the video. Oh, the other thing I noticed, did you spot when they both tried to put the figure 4 leg locks on, and Hulk Hogan had 0 clue how to put a figure 4 leg lock on?
There, put the figure 4. He's got him. Hogan gonna put the figure 4 on.
That's why he was behind, so you couldn't see him fucking it up.
He just sort of went like this. Lay down.
Lay down. Let's just put our legs together. Like you say, it was a really terrible
the other guy
finish.
Put himself in it.
Yeah, it was a real terrible finish. The whole big boot and leg drop was terrible. The no-selling the spine buster was bad. The Horsemen hit the ring, but the Dungeon of Doom attacked them. Then the Giant gets Hogan and Macho in the ring and gives them both a chokeslam. The Zodiac then holds the Giant back from doing any more damage, and we just end the show with Hulk and Macho laid out.
Yeah, everyone was kicking everyone's ass, weren't they? So the Dungeon of Doom came out to attack Hogan and Macho. Then the Four Horsemen came out and attacked the Dungeon of Doom, even though they were just in a match against Macho and Hogan, and it was kind of like a bit of a love triangle, wasn't it? Of again, just confusion and absolute chaos.
Yeah, it was true WCW style, wasn't it? Just throw everybody out, everyone just run out, just go.
If Luger had come out, I'd have loved it.
Yes.
He was meant to go out, but he was just wandering off around the back.
He'd already taken
getting
his boots
confused.
off.
Dave, what's happened to your face? Oh, you're back again.
My face
Dave, you just went a bit watch there.
Did I?
Blurry.
Jesus. Yeah. We can't lose this. This is what the people tune in for, isn't it?
I saw it. I recognise that face.
I thought for this match, the match was actually all right, but you can't keep giving us main event matches with big names in and just not deliver really good matches. The match was okay, but you can't keep giving me like Hulk, Macho, Flair, and Arn and just give me okay. I want more.
What more do you want, Dave?
I want a good match. But
they're guys in their 40s. They're not got any good matches left.
Just old.
Fuck off.
All sizzle and no steak.
It's the Huckster and Nacho Man. What do you want?
This show was a bit lackluster compared to what we've been seeing from Nitro. It felt a bit.
No, I loved it.
Not as exciting.
Did we not say last week or week before was like the perfect show?
Yeah, last week there was no flops. It was all
perfect
show.
Perfect for the era. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, WCW is probably very close to peaking, sort of within '96.
I've literally written down. I thought it was lackluster. I thought it was a bit mad. The ending. I liked seeing the Mega Powers get chokeslam. It was an all right watch. I've got. This will mean Sam will love it because you'll just love anything.
Yeah, no, I did love it.
So, yeah.
Or Luger would have been good.
Yeah, Luger. Yeah, if he come out and wrestled, fuck. If we switch back to Raw, we get Paul Bearer talking about The Undertaker's Creatures of the Night, asking when he'll get a title shot, and it is now. The Undertaker says Brett's been a good champion, but he'll deliver the title. Short and sweet, really, from him there, wasn't it? So
nice high shrilly Paul.
Yep.
Nice low growly Taker.
My Undertaker's Creatures of the Night have asked Paul Bearer, when will The Undertaker get a chance at the WWF Championship? Well, my friends, it's time!
Bret Hart, you were a grand and glorious champion. But now, it's out of my hands. The creatures of the night have spoken, and I do intend to deliver.
I personally don't understand why the Creatures of the Night want him to have a title shot, but...
Well, Undertaker also says that you've been a legendary champion, your time's up. And then he says, it's out of my hands. When it is literally in his hands.
Could it be more in your hands?
Someone up and going, this ain't my fault. It's, no, you are literally the dude who's going to fight him in the ring. And why are you even being apologetic about it? What do you give a fuck? Do you,
it's
you
the
want
Urn's
the belt?
fault, isn't it? That's what it is. It's that
I
Urn.
won't apologise. I want that belt. Sorry, it's the Creatures of the Night. So this is when...
I think it comes back to that point, doesn't it? We're getting to a more realistic point, and
this kind of hokey stuff isn't working
crossover
as much,
point,
is it? Yeah.
Turn around saying your Creatures of the Night want your belt when Diesel's like, I don't care about stuff now. High five, my high five.
Just buy a glove.
Yeah, when
I need that $9.99.
Yeah, and the Undertaker's like, oh, hellfire and brimstone, and it's a weird thing. At this point, we get billionaire Ted turns up, and they're trying to come up with a tagline. They say they should rip off Unbelievable and say that it should say it's not believable wrestling, and Ted's wrestling is not believable.
Yeah, like Ted's wrestling is not believable.
Boys, this is no time to start telling the truth.
And he says, no, it's not time for telling the truth. Then they say it should be where the good old boys play, or just where the old boys play, which is a pretty good tagline for our podcast, actually. Nacho says, let's lie and say this is where the big boys play. Nacho says, what if they have to take a steroid test? And Huckster says it's okay because they aren't in the WWF anymore, so it's okay. The WWE New Generation, there's nothing old or unofficial here.
The new WWF generation. There's nothing old or artificial here.
That was a couple of years prior. Is that what you're saying? We've done our steroid bit.
Immediately
this
after
is literally after Vince McMahon was indicted for supplying and pushing steroids.
Well, immediately after this, Vince McMahon issued a statement which reads, "The World Wrestling Federation is concerned about the health and well-being of its talent. Although on tonight's Raw program we use satire to demonstrate a point about the WWS steroid policy, as opposed to Ted Turner's WCW, we realise the use of steroids and other drugs of abuse is a serious issue and can pose health risks. Therefore, in a personal letter to Ted last week, I challenged him in the interest of health and well-being of all the athletes under his umbrella, as well as mine, to implement a policy which would adhere to the same strict standards which the WWF adopted several years ago. I also indicated that perhaps the only way this could occur is if we jointly select an independent drug policy advisor, collection and testing facility. The WWF has taken the lead in developing a program with teeth in it. Hopefully Ted Turner will see the value in protecting his athletes as well." He's basically saying, this was just joke, lads. We're joking about steroids, but it's satire. So
You think, though, he left off the bit in brackets, apart from Shawn Michaels, close bracket?
On the show, I thought it was an okay show from Raw for a change, but the matches are pretty underwhelming, apart from when they show us pay-per-view matches. But
and that's to worry. It's good. Yeah, you can see the seeds of Stone Cold being sown there and everything else, but it's a worry that the biggest part of the show, which is a good 15 minutes, is a fucking main event from a pay-per-view.
At least they're putting good matches on somewhere, though.
Well, that's the thing, and it makes it easier for watching.
WWF at this point is just gliding on the fact that it's WWF. It's gliding on Hogan versus Warrior at WrestleMania. It's gliding on Andre the Giant. All its past fucking glories. If BMW released a bunch of shitty cards for a few years, they'd still sell because they got BMW badges on them. And that's what WWF's doing. And luckily, just as things start to nosedive, you get Austin, you get Rocky Maivia, Triple H, DX. And I can't fucking wait to be doing a podcast where we've got all them things.
When it's all the good shit. Yeah. That's why we put the tenants in to do the bad stuff. Sam, have you got the ratings for us?
Yes, I have, young man.
Look at this. Gazzy's double
Nitro got.
Go on, what you got?
Yeah, I think I might be wrong here. Nitro was 3.0 and Raw was 2.8.
3.0.
I don't know what they are. Well done, Sam. Good work. Good work, bro.
Yeah, no, I got a feeling that was wrong, but yeah, no, that is what it is. Nitro is 3.
Wrong.
Yes, something like that. If you know, tweet us. Tweet Sam. Tell him he's a moron.
I'm going to find out now. I'm going to have another look.
Looks up some ratings. Gaz.
Yeah, no. Hang on. Wait.
This just in.
Raw was a 3.0 and Nitro was a 2.8. Cut the other bullshit out. It was the other way. Switch them round and that's the results.
Yeah. Never work with women, children, or idiots.
Or paedophiles.
Ooh, yeah, I'm the cream of the crop, and we rise to the top. My name is Adam, and I'm the head promoter of Britain's newest wrestling promotion, Championship Extreme Wrestling. We have got our first ever show on September the 11th, 2021 at Charter Hall in Colchester, Essex. We want to see you there. We'll have 36 of today's stars wrestling all types of matches. Now it's time for Dave, Gaz and Sam to pick their pops and flops from this week's show. Oh yeah, dig it!
Right, Gaz, what was your Raw pop and your Raw flop?
Unsurprisingly, I popped for the main event on Raw, the Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog with the most amount of claret bruv I've ever seen.
Nice. And the flop?
Quite a lot to pick from, and I didn't really know where to go with it. I was thinking Scheme Gene, maybe flop for that, or the steroids at the end. I was thinking pot kettle black there, Vince, but I'm going to go with Shawn Michaels' press conference of doom.
Jesus,
good choice.
Sam, what about you?
My pop was the intro for Raw.
Nice,
because that's what Gaz told me earlier it should be.
What did Gaz tell you your flop is?
The HBK
His
press
penis.
conference. That is what I did already have written down.
Well, my pop was the HBK press conference because I love the
What?
marks. I love the marks in there,
Oh,
whooping and
okay.
cheering. And
So you didn't pop for the
cheering.
press conference. You popped for the fake Marks cheering.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I
Yeah.
literally had to pause it. I was laughing so loud. I struggled to find a lot of terrible flops in this. Nothing.
Did you
stood out
really?
nothing stood out as being like, oh, this is awful. And then lo and behold, Vince delivers us Billionaire Ted and the steroids at the end, and I was like,
struggled to find flops.
yeah, this is as terrible as it gets. So, yeah, it wasn't a good show, but I struggled to find anything where I was like, this is outrageously more diabolical than the rest.
It's like someone has made you look at a whole fucking meadow of daffodils and gone, shh, point out what's yellow, Dave, and you've gone, nothing. Can't see any yellow there. Like everything was fucking shit, Dave. I think it was all right.
This is your WCW rose tinted glasses, Sam. Everything's
possibly.
It's good.
See, it wasn't all shit on Raw. There was some good stuff on there.
Well, yeah, there was the intro. The intro music.
Bret Hart
Yeah,
led
it's
along.
true.
What more do you want?
Everyone likes to see a bleeding heart.
Nice. Sort of. Gaz, Nitro, what are you popping and what are you flopping for?
I'm popping this week on Nitro for Brian Flying Pillman. I thought he was great.
Yep, it's same for me. I popped for exactly the same. He's so close to being a really cool heel, and then he just does dickhead things, and he's actually a chicken shit heel.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Flop.
I was flopping this week for Eric's dissing of WWF. Wasn't needed, Mr. Bischoff. Wasn't needed.
Bit too heavy-handed, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was straight out of the Vince McMahon playbook.
Sam, Nitro pop, and have you actually got a flop?
Yeah. I mean, my Nitro pop was Regal versus Eddie.
Fair play.
Just for obvious reasons we've already been through.
This is going to be
It maybe went 30 seconds too long, but it was a fucking joy to behold. And my Nitro flop was the assassination of Lex Luger. Why did Mean Gene and Sting come out in such an accusing manner, questioning a man of such high integrity and moral fibre?
His moral fibres. Yeah. Well,
To me, in my eyes, it's so clear what's happening, and people just seem to be
embarrassing their question.
doing him wrong. Yeah. Just
Flop. It was Hogan again. Just no selling Arn Spinebuster. Arn does the best Spinebuster in the world, and he's not selling it. Come on, Hulk, sort shit out. Not happy with that. Which brings us to which show did we prefer? Something Nitro is currently running away with 38-11, I believe the score is. Or that might be wrong because I only just checked. I thought it was a pretty evenish week this week because I didn't feel Nitro was as good as it has been. It just felt a bit more low key. But Raw copped out by showing me a pay-per-view match, and that gives it a big thumbs down for me. So yeah, Nitro again, 39-11. So Sam, what 40 to it? I can't believe it. You've learned to write. That's not going to work on the audio podcast. Is this us just forcing people to watch the YouTube?
Nitro.
Nice. 40-11. Gaz?
Yeah, it's a clean sweep.
Clean sweep. 41-11. Yeah, there's no coming back. Should we just give up now, lads?
Yeah. Let's call it a day.
I feel like we're going to get to the end of this podcast. WCW is going to be out of business, and we're going to have the score at like 1,820 to WCW and 17 to WWF. So the whole fucking point of this podcast will just be like, because we all know how it ends. Yet we're heading towards a totally different conclusion.
Aren't you kind of interested that we're going to get to a point where WWE is really good?
Just start to catch up and
I'll tell you what, it's very soon. It's very soon.
It's weird, isn't it?
Or we end it now. We just end it now.
Yeah, we're done.
Since you're fired.
Live or the
Fired in
podcast? Go kill yourself, guys.
Right.
What we're coming to, which is very good, is WWF pulls its socks up and gets very good. But also, so WCW also gets good. So we're going to have a little while of riding away where both promotions are really fucking good before WCW goes down.
Are we going to actually enjoy watching it rather than it being...
I'm going to say 96, 97, 98 are going to be...
99, 2000.
Brilliant.
2001.
99 2000 is going to be good for WWF, but 99 2000 WCW.
Stick around, listeners, for the ride.
Yeah, if you're still listening in about 5.5 years, which is how long it's going to take.
Just be us talking to Jake.
Yeah. Get Gigi on every week.
You are listening to the Monday Night Chores podcast. Dig it?
Yep. Okay. You can find us on the Twitters at Monday Night Chores. We're on the Instagrams at Monday_Night_Chores. We're on Facebook, Monday Night Chores Podcast, and on YouTube at Monday Night Chores.
Yes. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, go and give us a 5-star review on iTunes. You can listen to us on SoundCloud and Spotify. Or if you're a visual kind of guy, then you can watch us on YouTube.
The best way to enjoy us.
Best way to enjoy us is looking at us while we say things.
Perform.
While Gaz bites his lip.
Big thanks to everyone listening again. We're getting into things a bit now. I'm pleased that everyone is coming along for the ride. I think I speak for all three of us when I say we're doing way better than we ever expected with the number of people listening and watching and whatnot. And big up to all our Monday night chores.
Monday night whores, I think we should
Monday
call
night
them.
whores. Everyone likes being called. We'll come up with a better one. Anyway, I have been Dave Mack. It is a goodbye from Gareth Wadland.
I'm off to find out just where those old boys play. Hold on, that's not quite right.
And a see you later from Sam Wakefield.
I'm going to go and take loads of steroids and then not let it be the reason for why I've beaten up my wife and smashed every window in my house.
Just say
steroids.
bye, Sam.
Lovely.
Just
Okay,
say
bye. No.
Until next time, UK Wrestling Podcasting for life. Bye. Got a wave, guys, because it's visual.
Oh, wave. Sam's doing this.
You can't just have a rabbit and a hat and expect magic to happen. You need a fucking magician. And that's what Vince was.